The hum started suddenly, a low thrumming in the back of the mind, just before the world shimmered and reformed. It wasn't a sudden, jarring jump, but a fluid transition, like blinking across vast distances. One moment you were standing by your coffee machine, the next, the Eiffel Tower loomed over you, its iron latticework a stark, beautiful silhouette against a Parisian dawn. This was the dawn of jumpers, as they were quickly dubbed, a select few who had spontaneously developed the ability to teleport.
At first, it was chaotic. The initial jumpers, disoriented and terrified, found themselves in unfamiliar places, often with amusing or disastrous consequences. Sarah from Ohio, attempting to make her morning toast, suddenly found herself in a bustling Tokyo fish market, still holding a half-eaten bagel. Mr. Henderson, a notoriously shy accountant, accidentally landed naked on the steps of the White House, having merely intended to transport himself from his shower to his bedroom. Governments panicked, scientists scrambled, and the media went into a frenzy. But soon, the sporadic, uncontrolled jumps gave way to a nascent understanding. It turned out the ability wasn't entirely random. There was a subconscious destination intention. If a jumper truly, deeply focused on a specific location, they could often, though not always, get there. The range was initially limited to a few hundred miles, but with practice and mental conditioning, it expanded. Soon, transcontinental jumps became possible, then orbital, and eventually, even beyond.
The world changed, irrevocably and rapidly. Airlines saw a catastrophic drop in business. The very concept of borders blurred. Why bother with visas and customs when you could simply jump from London to Beijing in an instant? Smuggling became effortless for those with the ability, and policing became a nightmare. Special task forces were established not to catch jumpers, but to understand them, register them, and desperately try to integrate them into society without tearing it apart.
Economies underwent seismic shifts. Real estate in previously undesirable, remote locations skyrocketed in value, as people could now commute instantly to any major city. The concept of rush hour became a quaint historical anecdote, replaced by a constant, low-level thrum of personal teleportations. Goods, too, could be transported with unprecedented speed. A fresh catch from a remote fishing village in Norway could be on a Michelin-starred plate in New York within minutes. This led to an explosion of niche markets and bespoke services.
But it wasn't all utopian. The class divide sharpened in new and unforeseen ways. Naturals, those born with the ability, or developed, those who acquired it through intense training and meditation techniques, which were quickly patented and sold at exorbitant prices, formed an elite. They had access to experiences and opportunities that the vast majority of grounders could only dream of. A jumper could breakfast in Paris, lunch in Rome, and watch the sunset over the Grand Canyon all before dinner. They could access remote natural wonders previously unattainable, leading to a boom in tele-tourism and, inevitably, the degradation of some pristine environments.
The military applications were horrifyingly apparent. A single jumper could bypass all conventional defenses, appearing inside enemy headquarters or disarming a nuclear facility. Treaties were signed, clandestine organizations formed, all attempting to control the ultimate weapon, instantaneous deployment. Some nations even tried to genetically engineer the ability, leading to ethical debates that raged across the globe.
Social dynamics also mutated. The concept of personal space became paramount and simultaneously utterly meaningless. You could be alone in your apartment only for a close friend, or a stalker, to appear unannounced. Teleportation etiquette became a new unwritten code. Always text before you jump. Never jump into someone's private residence uninvited. The fear of being jump-scared by an unwanted visitor led to new architectural designs, including jumper-proof rooms with special shielding fields. Mental health became a significant concern. The constant sensory input of changing environments, the existential vertigo of defying physics, and the sheer power of the ability took a toll. Many jumpers developed acute anxiety, agoraphobia, a paradox for those who could be anywhere, or a profound sense of isolation from grounders. Support groups flourished, filled with individuals struggling to reconcile their superhuman abilities with their human minds.
Then came the long jumps. A select few, pushing the boundaries of their abilities, began to jump not just across the planet, but into space. Observatories, once the domain of powerful telescopes, were now directly visited. The moon became a tourist destination, then Mars, then the moons of Jupiter. The sheer audacity of it ignited a new space race, not with rockets, but with human will. What happened to a jumper who overshot their destination? Did they simply drift into the void, or did they cease to exist, dissolving into the fabric of space-time? The answers were terrifyingly unknown.
The greatest philosophical shift, however, was in the human perception of connection. Families could be spread across continents, yet be together for dinner every night. Long-distance relationships flourished without the long-distance part. But the intimacy of shared journey, the anticipation of arrival, the slow unfolding of a landscape, these were lost. Everything became immediate, instant, and in some ways less earned. As the years turned into decades, the world settled into its new reality. Teleportation, once a miracle, became a utility, albeit a powerful and often dangerous one. Humanity, as always, adapted. New forms of art emerged, exploring the beauty and terror of instantaneous travel. New sports were invented, relying on jumper agility and precision. The old world was gone, replaced by one where distance was merely a suggestion, and the only true barrier was the limit of one's own mind. And somewhere, a scientist still wondered if there was a limit, a point beyond which even a jumper could not go. A final destination where even the most powerful jumpers might find themselves truly, utterly lost.